Good morning, fellow traders and valued viewers. So today we're gonna just do a little quick talk on Tesla, and I got a few tools right here for you guys to just kind of reference. I'm not too big on indicators and things like that. I do understand the importance of them, but here, if you guys are like any of those, you guys can see it on the chart, right? Pressure, volume, momentum looks bullish. MACD, stochastics, RSI is a little neutral. That's probably going to ramp up. The MAs are bearish. I'm not. Again, I wouldn't really look too much. The Ichi being strong bullish, that's probably the one I would lean towards the most personally. Now, I do want to talk about some options levels. Now, I don't have it on me right now because I didn't save it. I did post it somewhere else, but um, 140, right? There was a buildup at 140 for about 18,303 calls yesterday. There was also a buildup of 135 sell side puts, probably around 3,000 or 30,000. I forget. So it's on the other video. Um, but what happens there? So initially, those sell side calls can act as a buoy, right? They pull price up, but it's tricky because they can choose to exit those puts and they're no longer helping markets rise, but instead of they become real puts, right? They sell the puts, they exit those sell side puts, and someone has to buy those puts, and then that creates an actual pull down effect. So as long as they don't exit, that will eventually become support in the near term. For at least I think they were out 3 weeks, I think. So it's something good to see. Interesting dynamic there at play right now. But like I said, there was some outright calls at 140, and there was also some outright calls at 145. It just so happens that this algorithm picks up those levels as well. I would say, looking at this chart, if we consider only this right here, we're looking at that there isn't really much there, but it doesn't clear that until 135, right? And then we see the 137. So that 137 point of control doesn't even appear as strong as it may appear on this chart. Again, there's data all over the place, so we don't know. And this was as of yesterday, so it's not. It could have changed. Everything's changed overnight all the time. There is a gap down here, so the only risk I see right now with the outlook is that the gaming sector for NVIDIA dropped 11% year on year. That's the only thing that could suggest that people may want to take some profit, pull it back down. If we look at the two-stage cash flow model, NVIDIA has an intrinsic value of 100. Now that may have been updated, so I'll update you guys when I get an update on that. But that was pre-earnings. Now I'm curious to see how the update for those expectations have changed, if they've changed. But I feel that NVIDIA has been due for 160, and currently we may be on our way there. So what I would want to see, and I wouldn't really mind this drop right here if this is going to help us get some new buyers in here to propel us this way up past that trend line. Because this trend line, I mean, can it be broken? I think it can. We just need to get above here. Probably once we cross that 40, we're going to be in good shape. And like I said, they may have took profit on some of these after hours on the 140s, but there was a build to the 145s that did happen that was new. So that's also a positive thing. So I'll definitely be looking for that this morning to see if there's more buildup for that 145. Yeah, so different time frames look different, obviously, with this tool right here. If you guys like to use it, you guys can just grab the chart if you guys want. And yeah, that point of control. See, on a shorter time frame, it says strong high. But after a strong beat like today, and let's just review those for a second, right? What is it? What is it? What was it? And if you guys didn't know, it was a record Q4 revenue of $39.3 billion, up 78% year on year. Full year came in at 144% growth, with 130.5 billion. That's pretty huge, right? The beat outlook by it beat the outlook by 1.8 billion. All right, so that's pretty good. So fiscal 2024 or Q4 2024 was 22.1 billion versus the Q4 2025 39.3 billion. So that's a pretty nice jump, and we can see that a lot of it was due to the data centers and Blackwell, the data center and Blackwell boom. Data centers came in at 115 billion in 2025 with 2 times year on year, and Blackwell alone did 11 billion. And they were telling us this for a while. Last earnings call, they told us that demand for Blackwell was huge, and I think the market, we've seen that it dropped here. And I think the thinking was at the time was like, are they going to be able to deliver on this? Right. The question I think wasn't the demand; it was were they going to be able to deliver on the high demand? And apparently, it looks like they did. And my speculation is that it's possible that you know NVIDIA prioritized the data centers over the gaming sector because they attributed some of the decline in the gaming sector due to chip constraints. So were they prioritizing? Maybe so. Maybe there was a bottleneck for them. Maybe they couldn't meet expectations. So that's going to be something to watch going forward for sure. Definitely something interesting. The guidance and cost, right? So Q1 2026 guidance was projected to come in at 42.1 billion. Actually came in at 43 billion. So that was good. OpEx growth, operating expense growth went up or was at mid 30%. So I'm not too sure how that. I don't know what it was prior, so I can't really chime in on that too much. The other thing that I think is great, and they did mention this also in the prior earnings call, was that their way forward was going to be more efficient, and I think they showed it right here with Blackwell, with producing 25 times the throughput at 20 times the cost savings. So that spread is huge for one. It's and if you're doing more with less resources, that's obviously big, especially in the world of GPUs, right? They're energy eaters. So that's good. And then some key wins, I guess, for NVIDIA were Perplexity and Microsoft Bing joining the party. I like Perplexity for one. I love it. I think it's a great tool. So I encourage anyone that doesn't know about it to check it out. And yeah, so I think the next target is really anywhere conservatively. The most bullish near term is 40. And breaking above that, I think those 145 calls are going to gain some momentum, may push us into the 148, close to 150. That 153 is really the all-time high. Could we push a little higher to 155, 156? I think it's possible. In fact, I think eventually, bigger picture, if this continues, I don't see how NVIDIA doesn't hit 180, 200. I know that's on some people's radar. I don't want to get too ahead of myself because there's still a lot to happen with tariffs and all that. So we may take another breather soon. And but we'll definitely see what's going on with that. I'll keep an eye on it for sure. But yeah, that's my outlook for now. I don't know if I showed you guys this. Oh yeah, I think I did. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm definitely curious. Are you guys bullish? I know I heard a lot of calls for 100 in the chat before. I just peeked in and I seen a lot of people saying 100, and I see the validity to it because from a traditional metrics based analysis, yeah, you would say that 100 is the fair value. And let me see if I can pull that up for you guys. 1 second. Give me 1 second. I can actually. So here, this is the fair value estimate as of right now. But it's at the forefront of an AI revolution. So do these metrics really apply? I think that's the real question, right? Does this really apply? 117 fair value versus overvalued. I've seen companies become way overvalued before they actually pull back. So, these are tricky metrics. Boeing is its fair value is way high and it's way low. So, yeah, take it with a grain of salt, I think. But yeah, there's a valid case for it based on traditional metrics. But the short-term buzz might be enough to at least get us here, is my thinking. 40 is definitely a key level. Breakout from there, 148, 150. I don't see how we don't hit the 160 area, to be honest. So yeah, my take. Hopefully that helps.